In Peru, another person was killed and 10 others were injured in the southern city of Arequipa in clashes at the Añas-Huasco Bridge, while protesters continue all over the country. The Russian forces has liberated the village of Klescheevka, according to the defense headquarters of the Donetsk People's Republic. In Western Sahara, the 16th Congress of the Polisario concluded after approving the election committee, the final declaration and constitutional amendments. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Marrero from the teleSUR headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. We begin with the news. Stay with us. In Peru, one person was killed and 10 others were injured on Thursday in the southern city of Arequipa in clashes at the Añas-Huasco Bridge, while protests continue all over the country. The Ombudsman's office regretted the loss and asked the Peruvian prosecutor's office for a prompt investigation of the fact to determine responsibilities. It also added 10 people were injured and taken to health centers in the area. Protests are taking place in several cities of the country following a call for a national strike. In the country's capital, Lima, thousands of people protested for the resignation of President Dina Boluarte and are met by police repression. Social movements from different parts of the world expressed on Friday their solidarity with the Peruvian demonstrators who have been repressed by the police and military forces, with at least 53 deaths counted. Various organizations in the region and in Europe have described the government headed by President Dina Boluarte as a dictatorship. From Cuba, the Red Scripts points out that the revolutionaries have the moral obligation to show solidarity with the Peruvian people. Also, the Catalan organization of Entre Pueblos expressed its support for the Peruvian protesters. For his part, the Argentine lawyer, teacher, and popular militant Juan Grabois sent strength to the Peruvian people in their struggle for dignity and for the repudiation of the representative government. On Thursday in Bolivia, the Departmental Court of Justice of La Paz ruled Luis Fernando Camacho, governor of Santa Cruz, must remain in trial detention. Judge Rosemary Pavon, who presided over the virtual appeal, he ratified Camacho's preventing detention, arguing that a former civic leader has political and administrative power to obstruct the judicial and police investigation into criminal charge against him. The prominent right-wing political waits trial on charges of terrorism for his participation in the 2019 coup d'etat against former President Evo Morales. On Thursday, Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro received former Spanish President José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero in Caracas to dialogue about regional issues. The meeting addressed two issues: the start of talk with the opposition bloc in his country and the support of Miraflores for the dialogue between the Colombian government and the National Liberation Army (ELN) guerrillas. During the meeting, Maduro supported the continuation of the talks with the political opposition to his government, with the purpose of developing a true and open dialogue as the only way to guarantee national peace. In Brazil, the National Federal Police initiated the first phase of Operation Lesa Patria, seeking to identify the participants in the assault on the headquarters of the power last January the 8th. This was announced by the Ministry of Justice and Public Security. The investigation will tug into the crimes of violent abolition of the democratic rule of law, coup d'etat, qualified damage, criminal associations, incitement to crime, and destruction of specially protected goods. On January the 8th, hundreds of supporters of former President Jair Bolsonaro invaded headquarters of the National Congress, the Presidency, and the Supreme Court, demanding a military intervention to overthrow the government of Luis Ignacio Lula da Silva. On Friday, Antigua and Barbuda's new cabinet of ministers, led by Prime Minister Gaston Brown, was sworn in for a third term after the ruling Labour Party secured a victory in the legislative elections of the Caribbean country. The ruling party obtained 1,295 votes against 621 for Alistair Thomas of the opposition United Progressive Party and Jamil Knight of the National Democratic Alliance. In a first for Antigua and Barbuda's history, Brown, 55, is the first executive leader to win the 3 consecutive general elections and consolidates his position in the next 5 years. In the U.S., Google's parent company Alphabet announced on Friday a global plan to cut 12,000 jobs, following a similar move by other tech giants. In an email sent to workers, Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai reported that the organization has decided to reduce its workforce by approximately 12,000 jobs out of 187,000 employees worldwide. The move comes a day after Microsoft communicated its plans to lay off 10,000 workers in a coming month. And we'll take our very first break, but remember, you can now follow us on our TikTok account as teleSUR English, in which you will be able to see news in different formats, news updates, and more. Welcome back to From the South. On Thursday, the defense headquarters of Donetsk People's Republic announced that Russian forces has liberated the village of Klescheevka. The founder of the war group said that the settlements had come under the control of Russian units, referring to Klescheevka as an important suburb of the city of Artemovsk, and adding that there are fewer battles around it. In the last few days, the Russian army has been advancing steadily towards Artemovsk. First, they took control of the industrial zone, and now residential areas are being cleared. Artemovsk is located in the region of Kiev-controlled Deep Yard and is an important transport hub for supplying the Ukrainian troops in the Donbas areas. On Friday, the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov asked the international community of the Red Cross to add a field lead in Ukraine. This Russian diplomat expressed this during a meeting with the president of the international entity, Mirjan Spurdrarik. Lavrov emphasized that his government demands that the Red Cross add impartially on the Ukrainian issue, making use of its unique humanitarian mandate and recalling that Russia has always respected. The official said that the country appreciates the partial and deputized service of the work of this organization. On Friday, Kremlin's spokesman Dmitry Peskov said President Vladimir Putin had met with the Security Council to discuss the course of the special military operation in Donbas. Peskov said that the meeting was attended by different state authorities, including representatives of the Federation Council, the State Duma, the Security Council, the Kremlin, together with officials from several national ministers. On Wednesday, Putin has said that Russia's victory in the conflict in Ukraine is inevitable thanks to the unity and cohesion of the Russian people, to the courage and heroism of the fighters and the work of the military-industrial complex. In France, more than 2 million people took to the streets on Thursday, January the 19th, on the first day of mobilizations against the government's pension reform project. According to the General Confederation of Labor, the CGT unions have called for a new date for the protests on Tuesday, January the 31st. The unions argue the reform is unacceptable and goes against the interests of the population. In the United Kingdom, the United Workers' Union announced on Friday they more strikes in the coming weeks and threaten with settlement is reached with the government. Union General Secretary Sharon Graham said that instead of protecting the National Health Services or the NHS, and negotiate an end to the dispute, the government has shamefully chosen to demonize ambulance workers. Graham said that ministers are deliberately misleading the public about live coverage and about who is to blame for excess deaths. In Spain's Andalusia's health workers go on strike indefinitely starting on Friday for better conditions to perform their duties. The strike was convened by the Union of Primary Care Physicians, the staff of Andalusia's primary care, family doctors and pediatricians of health centers and other points of emergency. The action was taken in the face of the reiterated lack of response from the state health authorities to the workers' demands of increasing the numbers of doctors in the health centers and the need to improve both the salary and the time they dedicate to each patient. This week, the shocking kidnapping of a woman in Murcia, Spain, is brought that light when viral. The images shows a man showing a woman in the trunk of a car and taking her away in front of numerous witnesses who recorded the incident. The event took place in the afternoon of December 2022 with bad weather viral in recent days. The assailants, who turned out to be the victim's brothers, beat her up, twisted her, and then put her inside of the car. Only one of the many witnesses called the Special Operation Group agents who managed to rescue the hostage after 36 hours, which included several exchanges of gunfire. More than 300 cities and municipalities in the Philippines were flooded due to heavy rain since early this year. According to the National Risk Reduction and Management Council, 82 landslides occurred throughout the country, with a total of 12 people injured and 7 others missing. Meanwhile, as a result of the floods, 264,800 people have been temporarily displaced, among which over 180,000 are in evacuation centers. In this regard, 1,600 houses on 194 infrastructures were evacuated as a result of the natural phenomenon, with damages to the agricultural sectors exceeding $8 million. We have more news coming up after this financial break, so don't go away. Welcome back. The 16th Congress of the Polisario concluded on Friday after approving the election committee the final declaration, the new proposed amendment to the Constitution and the National Action Program. During the event, letters and recommendations were endorsed, including those addressed to the Saharaui People's Liberation Army and the Saharaui political prisoners, as well as to allies and international organizations. Congressmen also approved the National Action Program presented beforehand at the National Preliminary Conference, which includes key sectors such as the military, diplomatic, political, and the media. Meanwhile, the Secretary General of the Polisario Front, Ibrahim Gali, points out that Sahrawis have now closed the doors to the negotiations and to a peaceful solution to the conflict with Morocco. Palestine called on the United Nations and the international community to go beyond condemnation statements and take partial steps to stop Israeli crimes. In a meeting with members of diplomatic missions in the country, Palestinian Foreign Minister Raed al-Maliki points out that the situation in occupied Palestinian territories, the bloody agenda and hateful rhetoric of the new Israeli government, as well as the ongoing aggressions by its armed forces and armed shelters militias against the Palestinian people. He added that the Palestinian people are paying a heavy price as a result of Israel's double standards and call on the international community to fulfill its responsibilities and put pressure on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to stop his illegal and unilateral measures. On Friday, Syrian security forces announced the elimination of Muhammad Ali al-Shaguri, one of the leaders of the Daesh terrorist organization, in an operation carried out in al-Musabri, the city of Daraa, western countryside. The security forces raided a base for the Daesh near a preparatory school in the northern neighborhood of the city of al-Musajib, killing al-Shaguri and two of his escorts. The deceased terrorist was responsible for assassination operation and terror attacks in Daraa. Syrian military affirmed that with this successful operation, Daesh lost the ability to regroup and organize attacks after losing its headquarters in the south of the country. On Friday, in Burkina Faso, at least 18 people were killed in the two attacks allegedly carried out by militants in north and northwest regions of the country. Among the deceased were 16 auxiliaries supporting the army. The recent attacks were the latest two hit the civilian auxiliary force that support the military in a 7-year fight against the terrorist forces. Authorities confirmed that the first attack targeted a dense party of volunteers for the defense of the fatherland in Rakotinga town, which lies in the northern province of Ban. The second incident took place in the northwest Nila province when a convoy escorted by auxiliaries and soldiers was ambushed in the Siena-Saran road. The African Department announced that on Thursday that the continent is expected to have an economic growth for at least 4% during 2023. Africa's biannual macroeconomic outlook and performance report indicates that the continent's gross domestic products will grow by about 4% in 2023 and 2024 despite multiple challenges. This presents a slightly faster growth than in 2022 and is above the global average growth rate of 2.7% to 3.2%. We have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our socials. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram as well. For teleSUR English and from the South, I'm Ana Marrero, and thank you for watching.